business that went in trades, but what were your thoughts when Dylan was traded?
Yeah, it is a business. We feel we're getting a good player. I think they feel they're getting a good player. So it's a hockey trade.
You had obviously high thoughts on Dylan when you got here. What was your sense of like what happened this year, and what got you to this point where you're trading a guy you wouldn't think you'd be trading?
I think when you look at the start of the year, he struggled to try to find his game early. I thought there was moments where he found his game. The type of player that I thought the Tampa game, I thought played really well in. But just couldn't quite find his game. I think maybe sometimes not being on that first power play hurt him a little bit on the offensive side. There's a lot of things, but we feel it's a good trade for both teams.
You've coached against Josh Norris. Well, what are you getting in return?
Well, I get a guy with high speed, high skill level, good in the face-off dot. Watched him play a lot of center. I think his IQ in his own end is very good. That coupled with the speed that he can bring the puck out of the zone. He's had good numbers. You look at all parts of his game, and you really feel like you're getting a real good player.
Usage-wise, he can pretty much go in all situations, can he?
For sure. You can face-off, penalty-killing, power play. He'll be a big part of all that.
You think he could be a guy that's like a top-line center? I know you probably have to figure out who fits with who, but
I do. I think when you're bringing in a guy like that, that's really what you're looking at. When you feel you've got a guy that can skate with the best, because I really feel his skating is elite. In defending, I saw a lot of good things with the defending part of the game, watching him play. So you're looking at a guy that can play in all roles and possibly be that guy.
Are you going to try to lock him with a couple guys, or are you going to try to move him through and let a bunch of guys play with him?
I think there's always that, the period of time when the new player comes in, and I think you see it around the league. How does it fit initially? Mm-hmm. And they get moved around, and sometimes it clicks right off the bat. Sometimes it's, it takes a line or two, or one just switching up one guy. I would like to lock them in with a couple guys and give them that opportunity.
Are Quinn and Greenway still too sick to play?
They're better. There'll be a game time decision. We chose to keep them off. They've had a rough couple days. Those other two guys just got in. We had to leave them in Tampa, so they got in yesterday. Brought a couple guys in. We'll see when the game rolls around. Kulik he's definitely out, not doing very well, and Sick, yeah. And our medical trainer, he's out too. He's sick. So that's a big loss.
what do you when you get a guy like Josh and you're kind of bringing him into
Well, he wants me to say that for him. We're gonna miss Stan's.
When you get a guy like Josh and he's in the middle of a playoff race, right, with Ottawa, and then he comes here, like what's the process of just trying to wrap your arms around him and get him to embrace being a Sabre here?
I think we're maybe a step ahead because Seth Appert has a relationship with him, knows him really well, has already spent some time with him. I spent some time with him. You've got to get through that initial shock. I think any player that's been traded, and you're good friends with a lot of teammates, you've got to get through that. We'll deal with becoming that guy we think he can become. And I think he seems like the guy that can get his head in the right place right away.
Really?
UPL.
How about losing Dennis Gilbert? It seemed like
Yeah,
any role you gave him, he did.
That's a tough one. Obviously, it's something. It's a hard one for us for sure, and we know that we need. We've talked a lot about where this team needs to get. So we'll leave it at that.
What was your feel for how guys, responded to what I'm sure was kind of an emotional goodbye to Dylan Cousins, a guy that, spent a lot of time with a lot of players here.
It was tough. I mean, it was, my conversation with him was emotional. I think everybody, he was emotional. It's hard. I mean, he's a real good kid. I mean, those are hard moments. It's part of the sort of sports business that is hard, that you got to get through, and sometimes down the road, a year or two later, you're going, that might have been the best thing for me.
Thank you.